you for your company as always with us on African News 24 television, your premier source for timely updates from across the continent and beyond. I'm Timothy Crown Aderibibe, bringing you the latest developments in politics, sports, entertainment, and more. But first, the major headlines. Vice President Kashim Shettima departs Nigeria for Guinea-Conakry for inauguration of the country's president. Minister of Defense calls for stronger interagency synergy to fight insecurity, just as United States budget 587 billion naira on security of West African countries. Former world heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua returns to the gym in his first media post after tragic accident. And now to the full conversation. We begin with the news from the presidency as the Vice President Kashim Shettima has departed Abuja to represent President Bola Tinubu at President Mamadi Doumbouya's inauguration in Guinea-Conakry. The Vice President Tinubu at the inauguration of President Doumbouya following his election victory at the ceremony scheduled to take place on Saturday, January the 17th, 2026 at the GLC Stadium, Nongo-Conakry. Shettima spokesman Stanley Nkwocha in a statement today said the Vice President's attendance at the inauguration of Doumbouya is a strategic move for regional leadership, economic partnership, and global economic integration under Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. After the inauguration, Shettima is also billed to attend the 56th annual meeting of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Let's turn our attention to security. There are projections that the United States may be spending as much as 587 billion naira on counter-insurgency operations in Nigeria and other African countries in 2026 amid worsening security conditions across West Africa. The allocation is contained in the U.S. National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2026. The funds were approved under the title XLIII Operation and Maintenance. The security budget for the U.S. Africa Command comes against the backdrop of the Christmas Day attacks on terrorist hideouts in Sokoto State by the Donald Trump's administration. The $413 million budget for security operations come as West Africa continues to grapple with insurgency, banditry, and violent extremism. Still in security, the Minister of Defense General Christopher Musa has called for deeper synergy between the Ministries of Defense and Interior, saying Nigeria's internal security challenges can only be effectively tackled through seamless collaboration and shared responsibility. Musa made a call in Abuja during a courtesy visit to the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunjojo, where both ministers pledged to strengthen inter-ministerial cooperation to address evolving security threats. He described the two ministries as two sides of the same national security coin, noting that the distinction between internal and external security had become increasingly blurred by asymmetric threats such as terrorism, insurgency, banditry, and cross-border crimes. According to Musa, no single agency or ministry can address these challenges in isolation, stressing the need for intelligence-driven whole-of-government responses. The Defense Minister emphasized the importance of stronger intelligence collaboration, proposing the strengthening of a joint intelligence fusion framework between the Defense Intelligence Agency and interior agencies such as the Nigerian Immigration Service the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, and the Nigerian Correctional Service. He also advocated the use of secure technology platforms for real-time information sharing, regular joint simulations, and tabletop exercises, and clear protocols for joint operations to reduce friction and maximize resources. Defense Interior Ministers seek stronger collaboration on security. Let's turn our attention to politics, and this time in Rivers State, where members of the State House of Assembly have voted to proceed with the impeachment process of the governor, Siminalayi Fubara, and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu. The members of the Assembly during a sitting today said the decision becomes important to exercise their oversight function as enshrined in the Constitution. The lawmakers insist their action is to check the excesses of the governor and his deputy after other alternatives failed. They also dismiss insinuation of ethnic coloration to their action, adding that their effort is in the best interest of the oil-rich state. Meanwhile, the lawmakers have called on the chief judge of the state to set up a panel to investigate the allegations of gross misconduct against the governor and his deputy. The Assembly members who made the call through a unanimous vote insist on continuing with the impeachment process. The lawmakers, during a media address, accused Fubara of allegedly using blackmail. Addressing journalists, the Deputy Speaker, Domle Mao, said Fubara lacked the trust needed to address the crisis rocking the oil-rich state. They accused the governor of infringing on the 1999 Constitution, saying the parliament was left with no other option than to apply their legislative power of impeaching him. The lawmakers also claimed the governor and his deputy had resorted to intimidating members of the parliament. And to some sad news, after a life well-lived, Abubakar Abdullahi, the imam of Ngar village in Burkina, the local government area of Plateau State, has passed away. Abdullahi enjoyed the admiration and respect of many after he famously sheltered 262 Christians during communal violence in the state. His son, Saleh Abubakar, confirmed his death, stating that the cleric died on Thursday night at the Plateau Specialist Hospital in Jos. According to Saleh, his father died 10 days after he was admitted in the hospital. Imam Abubakar died at the age of 90 years. He is survived by 19 children, 12 sons and 7 daughters. Recall that in June 2018, during violent faith-based communal clashes that affected 10 villages in Burkina, Imam Abubakar sheltered 262 Christians in his mosque and residence until the violence subsided, saving them from death. His courage earned him widespread recognition, including the International Religious Freedom Award presented by the United States Department of State in 2019. The late cleric has been laid to rest in Ngar village after the Juma prayers. To business, the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service LIRS has fixed January the 31st, 2026 as the deadline for employers to file their 2025 annual tax returns, warning that failure to comply will attract statutory penalties. LIRS said the directive applies to all employers of labor in the state and is in line with provisions of the Nigeria Tax Administration Act 2025, which mandates the filing of annual tax returns detailing employees' emoluments, taxes deducted and remitted, as well as payments made to consultants, vendors, and service providers. The agency stated that submissions must be made exclusively through its e-tax portal, noting that manual filings will no longer be accepted. Employers were also advised to ensure that all employees have valid tax identification numbers to avoid delays in the filing process. LIRS urged taxpayers to file early to avoid last-minute challenges, stressing that timely compliance supports effective revenue administration and fiscal planning in Lagos State. Still talking tax, the Nigeria Revenue Service, formerly Federal Inland Revenue Service, has dispelled reports suggesting that value-added tax is being charged directly on bank transfers, stressing that the 7.5% applies only to fees charged by banks for their services, not to the funds transferred by customers. According to a statement by the agency, recent media reports claiming that VAT is being newly imposed on electronic transfers and other banking transactions were inaccurate and misleading. The statement, signed by Dare Adekombi, Special Advisor on Media to the NRS Chairman Zaccheaus Adedeji, explained that VAT has long applied to banking services under Nigeria's tax framework and was not introduced by the Nigeria Tax Act. According to the Revenue Service, assertions that VAT is now being charged on electronic money transfers, bank fees, or commissions are unfounded. And on the foreign scene, President Yoweri Museveni may be cruising home to victory following reports of his commanding lead as officials conducted a vote count in Uganda's elections. Based on tallies from nearly half of polling units, Uganda's Electoral Commission reported that the long-standing ruler of the Central African nation had taken 76.25% of the vote. Meanwhile, Museveni's main challenger, pop star-turned-politician Bobi Wine, had gained just 19.85% and was under house arrest, according to his party, as reports of violence began to emerge. The remaining votes were split among 6 other candidates, the Electoral Commission said. Welcome to sports. Former world heavyweight boxing champion Anthony Joshua has returned to the gym in a bid to recover from the devastating car crash which left 2 of his closest friends dead. AJ documented his return to the gym for the first time after the accident. Joshua, in his message on the social media platform, captioned his post-mental strength therapy. In a post on his Snapchat account, Joshua is seen using an exercise bike and a swimming pool. There are no details yet if this is a return to the ring, as his promoter Eddie Hearn says he does not expect Joshua to fight again, but adds that there's no formal conversation on that yet. And back home, Super Eagles head coach Chelle has declared that he wishes to remain in charge of the Nigerian national team. He, however, stated that the decision on his future with the Eagles can only be made by the Nigeria Football Federation. Chelle, in an interview with journalists in Morocco, expressed his desire to continue as the Super Eagles chief tactician, but acknowledged that the final decision rests with the Nigerian football governing body. He reiterated his strong attachment to the team and the country, describing himself as a committed supporter of the Super Eagles. Chelle's comments come amid growing speculation over his position, with the NFF expected to review the team's performance and outline its plans moving forward. The former Malian national team handler has had an impressive run with the Super Eagles. And in entertainment, Nigerian singer Davido has reacted to claims by teenager Michelle Adeleke, who alleges he is her father and is demanding a DNA test. In a series of posts on social media, Davido firmly denied being her father, stating that he has undergone multiple DNA tests, reportedly 5 times, all of which showed negative results. He also questioned the actions of the teenager's mother, describing the situation as unnecessary and insisting he would no longer comment publicly. The alleged daughter has responded online, disputing some of Davido's claims and maintaining her request for a DNA test to confirm her paternity, as she cited emotional distress and bullying among reasons why she's asking for clarity. And that will be all for now. You can follow us for more updates on these stories and others on our website, africanews24.ng. You can as well follow us on all our social media platforms to stay informed and ahead. I'm Timothy Crown at Derby Bay. Good evening.